the dawn of man. No, we may not have had those beautifully curved hills in San Francisco proper when tricycles, because we didn't have the technology for tricycles until, 1930-something. But we did that, didn't we? I used to street race. I've jumped cars before, like Evel Knievel and all those guys that I looked up to when I was a kid. Yeah. Of course, there was that time I thought Evel Knievel and Elvis Presley were the same guy, and I remember my entire world shattering when I found out they're actually two different people. It still hurts me to this day. But anyway, I'll digress because I'm doing a show here on Pot. Yes. Yeah, the risky behavior's always been there. It's just that now that we've got iPhones and GoPro cameras strapped to us all the time, we're now seeing it more. Why? Because we're on the internet. And what are we doing on the internet? Well, let's be honest, people. Whether we're at home or we're at work or we're in our car, we are strapped to these devices. We are constantly staring at them. The whole thing about, I don't text and drive. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I don't Facebook and drive. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I see it every day on Interstate 80, every single day long, all the way on the rush into work in the morning, on the rush out at night. Every time I look over at any car, everybody's got their face in their devices. Don't even go there. So, next window. Really. So yeah, this risky behavior, that we're thinking, the risky behavior is going to lead to criminal activity. They're just going to go and grab machine guns and just mow everybody down. They're going to... No. And being a former pot smoker myself, I can tell you that you get extremely docile. You maybe want to eat. Most strains will make you just want to sleep, go nighty-night. Maybe eat first and sleep later, or just sleep. That's what it does to you. There's no, I can see these big pharma companies. I can see them, lacing the pot with something that'll jack you up or, put PCP in it or some other bloody thing, but I don't trust them. No, I trust the bearded tie-dye T-shirt wearing hippie who's got the trees growing out in his backyard somewhere. Yeah, because I know I can smoke that stuff and I can go to sleep. Or I can smoke this stuff and have some Doritos and go to sleep. That's pretty much the sum and total of all you'd have to worry about under normal circumstances. But are we going to be talking normal circumstances? That is indeed the question. Who polices the government? That is indeed another question. And all these questions are quite important. They can't be just left to the wayside in hopes that, let's just legalize pot and then work on the rest later. These are things we need to look at now. And as educated people of the United States, these are some of the questions you need to be asking. Not whether or not we should legalize it. If there is any form of regulation going on, and there already is, who's overseeing that? Who's monitoring that? These are some of the things we got to ask. And rest assured, Uncle Crash can guarantee you that society will not all just fall and the world will collapse and we'll all just go to hell and everybody will be dead. It's just weed. Yeah, so that's about all I got to say on that as far as the potential for risky behavior, etc., etc. Well, that's pretty much the sum and total of the factual evidence tonight on tonight's show. I do have a little quick fun story about, which province in Canada smokes the most marijuana. Because it's, I guess it kind of only really matters to me because I used to be a British Columbian. But, it's not BC, no. Young people consume this stuff in Canada more than anywhere else in the world. A majority of citizens flavor loser pot laws, and the leader of a major political party toked while in office. Yes, he did. But which Canadian province uses marijuana the most? Well, that's a question, of course, answered again by Statistics Canada. The Canadian Community Health Survey for 2012, which asked Canadians over 15 if they used either cannabis or hashish during the 12-month period before. Of course, this means the numbers reflect how many Canadians are willing to admit using pot rather than how many actually do, but the survey is useful in comparing provinces. Now, surprisingly, British Columbia was not at the top of the list. Yeah, they were not. Not even kidding. Kind of strange. And when you really look at it, okay, so the numbers won't be exact because, it's just like they say. Who is really going to cop to that, right? Who's going to, I smoke pot. And then, of course, do we have to look for ramifications? Are we going to lose our jobs if it's found out that rest assured, none of these studies are, with your name, address, and phone number on them. They're always anonymous. You just submit them anonymously so that they can come as close as possible to, indeed, more actuating statistics than just, if they actually said, okay, well, we want your name, address, and phone number and everything else, and they'd be like, But yeah, so which is the highest smoking province? Any guesses out there? Well, if you said Ontario, you'd be bang on. That's right. Ontario, Canada. Yeah, the biggest smokers are right there. Good old Ontario. Well, we're going to go for our final commercial break, and when I come back, I'm going to have some final thoughts on this whole thing. And again, if you want to share your thoughts, you can tweet me at CRASHTalkin', or you can fire off an email at producer@htlaRadio1.com and share your thoughts. We'll be back in 2 minutes, gang.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
The hot new accessory, brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Good morning. Welcome to Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop,
where fresh always tastes better.
What can I make you this morning?
How about our new flatbread breakfast paninis? Made fresh, just for you, with your favorite breakfast ingredients on maple or multigrain flatbread, then grilled to hot, melted perfection. Just $2.99. Who couldn't warm up to that?
Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where quality really does meet value.
In this fast-paced, digital everything life, there's nothing like experiencing the world's finest journalism in its original form. So sign up today for as little as $3.80 a week to receive the greatest newspaper in the world and all the incredible experiences that come with it.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Well, you know we are. That's right. Welcome back to the show. 10:26 in the PM here in the big city. 25 degrees, Central Park, clear skies, and it could be a whole lot worse. So I, for one, am thankful for the weather currently. Also, this show is brought to you, as always, by Tim Hortons New York City, now with 8 locations in the city to serve all your coffee and baked good needs. Get on down there and see them. Tim Hortons New York. Also, what else do I got to mention here? Oh, not much. Yes, and some of you were wondering, geez, the show sounds pretty good tonight. Is Jenny actually in the booth pushing those buttons, or is he winging it tonight? And the answer, of course, to the question is she is in the booth pushing the buttons and making us sound awesome as always, because I can't do it or something. I screwed up big time last night, but hey, if you're a listener, you know that. Today's show, Crash Talk, we are, of course, talking about Mr. Weed. Yes, the 420, the Gonja Man. Yes. And it's impending illegalization everywhere, because it seems to be going that way, with gay marriage and everything else. Well, geez, if we got all that too, we've got to have our pot. So I've just been, giving you guys some facts tonight, giving you some current stories, giving you some of my experiences personally living in pot kingdom for 42 of my years. Yes. And, just kind of going from there, kind of trying to let you all know out there that the world's not going to go to hell in a handbasket if we've got some weed. It's really not. It's about as innocuous and terrible and, well, no, not innocuous. That's the wrong word. What the hell am I thinking? Well, I'm just trying to convey that it's like potentially getting murdered with a Nerf bat. Sure, it might be possible, but man, that's going to be one hell of a long, painful death, let me tell you. Because, no. It's not too likely. But what are some of those warning signs? What are some of those things that could affect our society here in the United States negatively? Well, like I've said before in the show, it could make you eat more and become sedentary. But also, as I've outlined in the show, you guys all just pretty much eat and are pretty sedentary anyway. So I don't really see that changing anything. Also, I've reminded you that the pharmaceutical companies have their hands in, you can be sure, of the legalized medical marijuana outlets. I'm quite certain to make sure that we need to really keep an eye on this stuff. It's no different than, well, hell, in the 1950s. Hey, you know what? Guess what? Here's the thing. Back in the 50s, what were doctors telling us? Hey, you can smoke. This is good for your throat. I remember those Camel commercials. Oh, yes, we pulled 30 people and made them smoke Camels for a month, and we checked their throat for irritation, and there was none. Well, what have we learned in 50, 60, 70-odd years now? Well, what have we learned? Apparently it's cancer-causing. But then apparently so many things are cancer-causing. Apparently we can't have trans fats anymore. Apparently we can't have gluten anymore. Who came up with that one? Gluten is a part of the wheat kernel. Okay? I've known farmers living on wheat all their lives. Didn't see them drop dead from a heart attack. Seen them drop dead from hard work. Yes, I have. But a heart attack from eating gluten? Hell no. So how come we can't eat it? They're changing our foods. Who is changing our foods? Who oversees the food? And indeed, in this particular case, about medical marijuana and or just legal pot full stop, who's overseeing those distributors? Like I said, I would sooner go to my friend in the tie-dyed shirt who's got some plants out in his back 40 and buy a bag off him than I would any of these boutiques, Starbucks-looking pot stores. Yeah. Chocolate and vanilla in your pot. Are you kidding me?